Right.
That's it. Whatever love bombing energy they tried to do,
Love
it
bombing.
was instinct.
Alright, I want to talk about
Justice got served here.
doing isn't much.
For this impulsive energy, this
Give it a
immature
good
energy,
soaking because it takes a bit to soak into that hard dirt.
That's right.
Anyway, I filtered it a bit. Let it soak in, that should get to the seeds. It's a bit loose in the channel, so should be able to get down in there. Then I'll give it another soak in tomorrow, and then I'll leave it for a bit. Now I want to talk about saving water. There's a bit of bread here. How it all works, right? Now this system here, you'd want to have, as I talked about before, a sprinkler system. Maybe just underground before you do it. Prepare it underground. Like once you do a design, you can come up with a design later, what you should have done right, later on when you first get into things. And then you go, okay, next time, this is what we do first. We put this down here, we go here, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to saving water, you cover up things. Right? You put something on top, holds the water, and if you have a little sprinkler system that just has a little drizzle line, you can wet all under the ground and then keep it nice and wet for ages as it can't evaporate. Huh? And so you can use less water in these systems, definitely with a sprinkler system instead of coming out the hose and all that. Huh? It's a less water system. And you let it soak for a few days, you probably get about a week once you've let it drizzle and soak in, and then you'll be right. And then you can test the soil by putting in a stick or anything like that to find out what the moisture is in the soil. Right? But it's a good way to not lose evaporation. You can even set up farming like that, right? Like these pods, and have lines to stop evaporation, right? Up in the air. And you don't need it too thick either, and you don't need it to be too strong. You just need it to be sort of stable, definitely in the areas where you can walk on, and then the other areas you can have it thicker concrete if you want with the vehicles, or just gravel, right? Or something, concrete then gravel or something like that. So you don't want to create too much heat too. And so what you do if you do have concrete around is you have trees, right? And you leave these trees grow big, and they make shade areas in every spot. And then that way it keeps the concrete cool in areas that you are to stop creating the off heat. Now I get off heat from the windows from the roses at the front. They've been like that for a long time now. Boom, 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 boom. We got ring, ring, a ding, a dinger. I'm the stinger. You know that? I just like to keep this in the background. It's like I've been talking about. It's a scanner. You see, and sometimes it means something. Sometimes it doesn't. But why? I'm still, here doing certain things. I'll leave it going for a certain little thing before I start another area, right? And so that's what happens when it comes to farming. If you look ahead and do things, you can do things more efficiently, right? And then it'll make up. So it's a little costly at first, but then over time, it's very, very, very cheap. And that's the main goal, is to get plans like that. So when you go, I want to become a farmer, I'm going to invest in this. How much money am I going to need so it doesn't cost me? I can go the cheap route, but I'm still going to have to pay for it later. So you can do that. You can try to start off the basic ways to get the money up and then quickly go, now what's the next paddock I'll upgrade to? So you leave one paddock, go away, upgrade the next paddock, and you move from that paddock to that paddock. That way there's no loss of what you're doing, right? And you can make money. If you've got lots of water around in certain areas to waste certain that, you can. But if you haven't got things to waste, you shouldn't, because then it costs you more money or cause more problems. But anyway, I'm going to go soaking moment soon for the roses around the front. Every now and then they're going to be soaked until I can afford to put the line in. There is lines around here, but they need to be fixed and don't work too well, and they're connected to the next door. See, the sprinkler systems here, as I talked about before, the box that runs them is actually next door, and they run the box and they have the water part where it's connected. And so that's been disconnected ever since I've been here, except every now and then with a neighbour or two that I've had, we've been able to turn them on to check them out for them at the front and stuff like that. I've talked about it before, but I've never used them here. I'm actually starting to dig them up. There's a sprinkler just over here somewhere. This is what I'm talking about. I think it might be further up. But there might be one around here. I seen one not long ago. Oh, it is there. Right there. Can't see it, but there's one right there. See, I'm feeling it like that. It's a sprinkler. So they'll sprinkler system, but they haven't. What they needed to do ages ago, I don't know why they wanted to fix them. They fixed them a few times, but what they needed to do, and I've told them a few times way back, is they needed to change the box. So get another box, disconnect that how it's controlled, and then disconnect the water and change the water to 2, because this place obviously was built by one person and then donated. You know how they get a house and that. It's not made by them. And they've designed it where it's got power at the letterbox, right, which is odd. And they obviously had probably an old man and their house member or something like that. And then that way it doesn't matter that they shared the water, and maybe they were at the front and they paid for everything and did most things and stuff like that. But when it changes later on, you'd think you'd change that system, but it's never been. Ever since I've moved in, it's been talked about from the start. Not to be used at first when I moved in, not the matter about it, and then they've fixed it a few times and it's been used hardly ever. So I wonder how much it'd cost to fix it a few times, only they would know. But anyway, it just sits there. And so I'm going to do my own little one, or I can tap into that, but then I might get into trouble. But then if I do, which I'll have to find where it goes that way, and tap into that way, because there's a pipe here, and I've got a couple of those auto motors, which opens up and makes these sprinklers come on and stuff, for the back here, which helps boost it up and stuff. And so you'd have to cut off that area, but it'd be better off just disconnecting it, leaving it, as the front ones has a couple of gaps in the garden. I've accidentally hit myself at the here, and so I've just disconnected them, and they're not there really anymore. You can still see this little sprinklers there, but they can't be used. But anyway, you can only use that if you get along. If I got along with my neighbour, which I have before, you could be able to use it then if you made a deal or something when it comes to the front garden, the front nature strip. Because to water the front nature strip, which you can turn on now, that should work. You can use that box and that front building be able to water the front nature strip with sprinklers. They don't have to go out there. The whole front can be watered with sprinkler system. But anyway, have a good one. And if they're using other sprinklers, I don't know why. I even fixed them when I was fixing them when they turned up, these previous ones, as I used to mow for the previous neighbour before them. And I ran over a couple of them as they stick up a bit. And I just fixed them up, and they're all running, and should be running through housing. And all they have to do is go out to that box, turn it on, and they'll run it. If they turn on the back ones, the first couple's theirs, house, you shouldn't tell them that. And then the last ones are for this joint, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 or something like that. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the front gardens, and all the gardens are all covered. Oh, the whole area. You just turn them on, and I've got sprinkler systems here, in the middle here, and on the edge here. And they have it at the front too. But anyway, they know all about that, as they knew I was fixing the sprinkler system. But have a good one, everybody, and see you later. If they're not working now, then there must be an issue again with the sprinkler system. It's definitely in the front part. If you drive on the grass and that, you may run them over. But anyway, have a good one, everybody, and see you later.